Okay, I'm going to give you some tips about how to get the best results when you're searching about your topic. So here I am in google.com or at google.com, and I just typed in Trail of Tears into the search bar. That brings me 14 million results, which is a whole lot. Google's going to give me the ones first off that are most often clicked on, not necessarily the best sources or the most relevant, just most often clicked on. So it starts with the National Park Service and then Wikipedia. Remember, Wikipedia, maybe you can get some background information, but I feel like this source and this history.com or this PBS source is going to give you the same information and it's going to be more credible. Do not cite in your bibliography Wikipedia or about.com or Yahoo Answers. Those are not credible. They should not be cited. So I can do better than this, right? Right off the bat, here's the official website of the Trail of Tears motorcycle ride, which is just not really what you need. So if I search Trail of Tears with quotation marks, I'm down to 2.5 million results. So I'm back here. I have some other sources, hopefully a little bit better, reduced amount of sources. But again, I'm mainly going to find background information and I want to go deeper than just encyclopedia level, common knowledge level information. So to do that, I might try this. Again, Trail of Tears is in quotation marks. And then I type in cite:/.edu. And I'm getting then only sites that end in .edu, so it means they're from colleges or universities. You might, depending on your topic, try .gov or maybe even .org, but .edu is a good way to go. That doesn't mean all of these sources are going to be perfect, but it's going to lead you. I see a lot of sources here that seem to take me to primary sources, which is great. This looks like an article, so I'm going to click on that. And I'm a little nervous about this one because it doesn't say she's a professor. It doesn't say she's a doctor with her PhD. It also doesn't say if this was published in something. So I'm a little uncomfortable about this. I have a feeling it might be a student paper, in which case it's not that credible, not that helpful for me. So I don't think I would use that one. As I continue on and go on to the next page, another thing I noticed as I'm searching here, this is a PowerPoint. And again, this probably won't be useful. It's probably a PowerPoint that a professor used, but it's not something I'm going to want to cite. But I might go ahead with this one because this looks pretty promising. And I open it up and I find this Cherokee Women in the Trail of Tears, which is kind of a gold mine. If I'm interested in studying women's history and the Trail of Tears, I might have found something that's really going to help me narrow my topic. So that's excellent. I also found out that the Cherokee tribe is mostly involved with the Trail of Tears. So now I can do other searches and maybe add Cherokee in the search bar, searching for both Cherokee and Trail of Tears. There's multiple things that you should search for, not just your topic name, but if you find out who was president, right? Andrew Jackson during this time, I might search for him. When I find out that there was a Supreme Court decision regarding this, I might search for that. So continue to widen your search. But this looks promising because it's saying what journal it was published in, so that makes it a more credible peer-reviewed article. And this here is an abstract, which is a summary of the article, which is nice, you might think, but don't try and cite the abstract. You shouldn't be quoting anything from here. This just helps you to know if you want to read this article, if this article is going to be helpful for you. So I click on download PDF. and unfortunately it tells me I need to buy this article. Don't buy it. You can write down the information and go search in the King County Library site or the UW library site, and there you can have free access to articles and databases. Okay, so make sure you don't go buying anything. Another thing you could do is as well as, so you need secondary sources, but you also need primary sources. So you can add that to the search bar, and Google is pretty smart. And so now I'm getting a lot of primary source documents. I have given you links to a lot of websites that already contain tons of primary sources, but if you're having trouble finding something for your particular topic, you can always try this kind of thing in your search bar. You could also, going back to secondary sources, you can try Google Scholar. And this might lead you to some books that you might search for in the library. But I know books, are long. There's a lot of pages, and your time is limited. So articles, scholarly articles really are a good way to go. So I'm going to try this one. And it's going to take me here to this article. And this looks, you don't know this, but it does in fact look like a peer-reviewed kind of article. And it looks, so with credentials. And so I think this is great. This is a really good secondary source, hopefully. But you'll notice it's kind of long, right? It's not 3 or 4 pages. Some of them you find might be. It might be closer to 20 pages, but keep in mind a book is hundreds of pages. So these articles are going to be your friend as far as secondary sources go. And notice here, they are even potentially says this is the general's orders. And so this looks like it's a primary source within the secondary source. And there is a way you can cite it that way. So it leads you to secondary sources too. All right, and finally, another site you can go to is called sweetsearch.com, and it's called a search engine for students, where research experts go through the results and they only pick out the best ones. So notice there's only 20 results, which is a lot easier to work with than millions. These first few sources are good. Notice you don't find Wikipedia that does not pass their test, but still many of these are encyclopedia level in their knowledge, and you do need to dig deeper. But it's a good place to look as well. So these are some tips that will hopefully lead you to successful research for your project.